Hey guys, time for another upgrade. This one, kind of glad to do, kind of mad I had to do it. So I got the new Polk LSiM speakers replacing the Klipsch reference series, and wow, are those things power hungry. Sound great. I will have videos about them coming in the near future. They're still slowly starting to break in. Got about 10 hours of time through them, plus, dedicated break-in time, just jamming out during the day. Plus, I've been doing a lot of critical listening, working on a video for Master Set. If you don't know what that is, go ahead and Google it. I'll have a full explanation coming, and hopefully tell you how you can do it, or at least get really close. Spoiler alert, I haven't gotten it yet, and I don't know if it's even possible in my room, but I'm really close and it sounds great. Got another box inside here. Stand by while I dump this out. So what we have is an upgrade from the integrated Yamaha receiver, the 2085 that I'm running. That is putting out 140 watts a channel, only in stereo. Yamaha does not give you the spec for what it drops down to for multi-channel. I would guess something around 100 watts a channel at the most. This is the 3x200 all channels driven Monoprice Monolith Amplifier. And this comes in a whole bunch of different flavors, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9. I believe the 11's out now. Plus they have a standalone processor that you can mate up with any of them if you don't want to run an integrated receiver for your surround processing. And the reason I got this one, well, first of all, I've been very excited to try one of these since they came out. They've been getting stellar reviews. It's THX certified, just phenomenal statistics, and everyone that reviews it has said it's got great sound. And that's exactly what I'm after, but I need a lot more oomph. This is, what do they say, 65 pounds, and most of that is power supply. This is a Class AB amplifier. The last Class AB I had, and you know what, it wasn't even AB, it was Class A. It was an old Kenwood. That thing weighed a ton, only put out 130 watts a channel, just left and right. Back then they didn't even have powered sub-channels, or it was Dolby, just when 5.1 was coming out, but it was a 130 times 2 for your main channels. I was driving Bose 901s with it. Great amplifier. I really regret selling that when I was a kid. But these Polks are only 88 dB efficient compared to the whatever the Klipsch reference were rated at, 97, 98, whatever it actually is, still 95, maybe 96. These Polks are half the volume. No joke. At least a 10 dB difference on the volume knob to get the same pressure. And even then, you're still missing something. Now I'm attributing some of that to break-in, but some of that is definitely amplifier. So we have a very beefy grounded power cable. And I'm sorry, I don't believe in aftermarket power cables yet. I have yet to hear anything that convinces me otherwise. We do have a trigger cable. I didn't know if one was included. Nothing on the site that I saw, I looked for, what's included in the box, the manual, etc., said it included a trigger cable. I bought one for $7, so, oh well, now I got two. So if you're watching this and you were curious, yes, a trigger cable comes in the box. We've got a thank you. We've got a download your manual link. So there we go. That's all the paperwork you get. We've got a bunch of closed cell foam packing and a very heavy amplifier. Let me get this out of the box. Oh, am I the only one that loves that new circuit board smell? Fantastic. So what we have is from here over a gigantic toroidal power supply, and it's about 1/3 of the entire unit. This is what's taking up most of the weight. We have 3 circuit boards, 1, 2, 3, running full length back to the back panel with huge heat sinks on each one that are about 2 inches thick. This is a fanless, silent design. The vents are right here, directly over the heat sinks. They extend halfway down the side, and that's it. It is just pure power amplification. On the front, simple power button. Nice little logo, and that is it. I assume there's going to be a light here somewhere. On the back, oh man, that toroidal power supply is where all the center of gravity is. So if you pick it up from the front. Oh man, that's heavy. So around back, we have our connections. We've got our trigger. This will come from the amp or the processor or the integrated receiver. This is a dedicated ground. I have to look up if I need to use this with my receiver or not. I'm not sure if it has a ground to attach to or if you go to a chassis screw. Haven't looked that up yet. We have a protected power switch, the grounded inlet. We have both single-ended and balanced inputs. Very, very forward thinking. The original model of this only had the RCA single-ended. So they did upgrade, and I believe all of the models now, excuse me, come with both options. And then large plastic spade or banana plug or bare wire accepting terminals. And that's it. Good to go. Now the only other thing you need are interconnects. You need to connect your receiver to the amplifier. Now in my case, Yamaha doesn't really embrace balanced outputs yet. They only have them on one model, the very top of the line model. That's it. Everything else only gets single-ended. I'm perfectly okay with that. My runs are very short. I doubt very highly that I would hear the difference with my system anyway. So here's what I went with, just very good quality shielded interconnects. And these are also Monoprice brand. They weren't too bad. I want to say they were 17 bucks a piece, something like that. But well worth the investment. They're short, 1.5 foot, I believe that's what I got. And you just need one per channel. So now I'm all set. I cleared room in my AV rack, and if I measured right, I've got 1 inch of clearance left. Oh man, this cabinet is D-O-N-E done, and I got lots of puppy nose smears. How'd that happen, Clover? All over the cabinet. So I did measure correctly for the depth and width and height. Less than 1 inch clearance. What I forgot to take into account was the added depth of the banana plugs and the power cord as it sticks out. I had to cut out pretty much all of the backing board. So I've got this thing screwed together. It's about 150 pounds of weight in here right now, and luckily all on the bottom. I just have a battery backup up here and remotes and cables up on the top glass shelf now. But it fits absolutely beautifully. Yes, I know. I have a jealous puppy that wants me to spend time with her 24/7. So it's a beast. I only have one gripe with it, and that is the blue light that you can't turn off. But luckily a little dab of electrical tape takes care of that. I had a Klipsch sub that I had to do the same thing for. They stuck a blue light on the very front of the sub, couldn't turn it off. And there's a green light here on the Harmony hub that I do the same thing for. I don't like any kind of distractions when I'm watching a movie. So, but the unit itself is beautiful. So funny story. I got everything hooked up. I've had this in for a few days now. I've been doing a ton of critical listening, working on the speaker placement video. Turned it on, connected the wires. You know, it's pretty simple. Power, 3 inputs, 3 speakers going to the outputs, and nothing. Nothing. I mean, it powered on. I had a light. I was getting sound. The receiver was still working. I could switch it to surround AI and the other speakers would come on. I thought, okay, well, maybe there's something in the speaker setup. So I went through that, and it's kind of confusing in the Yamaha menu of the what they call power amp assign, and that's how the channels are divided. They do have some selections in there that specify use external amp for the fronts. So I thought, okay, well, yeah, I guess that's what I need to set it to. But then it takes my last 2 channels of Atmos and converts it into zone 2 or zone 3. That's obviously not what I wanted. I wanted to keep everything else. All I wanted to do was take the front, left, right, and center and send it outboard. And I thought all you had to do was plug in the preamp connections and that was it. Well, it wasn't working. Long story short, I missed a tiny little switch on the back of each input on the amp that switches it between balanced and single-ended. And it was defaulted to balanced out of the box. Totally didn't catch it. It took me about 10 minutes of reading the PDFs and it just dawned on me like, oh, wait a minute. There are 2 different inputs. I wonder if there's a switch. And I had to use the phone and did a little video behind so I could see, and sure enough, click, click, click. Oh, so bottom line, was it worth it? Yes, for me. If you have more efficient speakers and you have a great receiver that's putting out, in this case, 140 watts a channel in stereo, not surround. If you're more concerned with home theater, even more, yes, worth it. But just talking for a moment about music, just 2-channel stereo music. These speakers are so inefficient. I mean, they're about half the volume coming from Klipsch, right? Now, I don't listen at those extreme 120 decibel volumes. 100, 105 maybe for peaks. That's like loud to me. I don't listen to my music that loud, just sitting here enjoying it in the living room. But these were struggling to get there at 0 dB reference level. And you could very easily detect clipping and more easily distortion coming out of this, going just a little bit further than that. Not even getting concert loud, not even ridiculously loud, just, hey, yeah, that's pretty loud. They were already starting to run out of steam, pure and simple. Below that, this sounds great. What this did is not give me all of the volume back. That would take a lot more power. I would say I got about 50% more volume going from 140 of, whatever this is really putting out to what this is really putting out. Now I can go to about -15 and it's not only a little bit louder than it was at 0. And again, I don't know how they're really calculating these levels. I mean, even model to model, this model has a completely different reference than my 683 that I have in the other room, and that was completely different than the 5 series, so I don't put much stock in that being really accurate. But the point is, at the same points, they're much louder. They now go much louder than I will ever be listening to them, and even at that volume, clean as a whistle, and they have a little more headroom left. So for me, worked out absolutely beautifully. If you've got even less efficient speakers, maybe some Magnepans, well, you're probably going to want more than this. Look to 600 watt monoblocks or something really high-end tube-ish. But for normal tower speakers, this sounds absolutely perfect. They both sound at normal volumes the same. They are very clean. They are very clear. They have great soundstage. I could close my eyes and I couldn't tell you which it's running on until you turn it up, and then it's day and night different. So yes, a much worthwhile investment. Now, movies, another story. Absolutely needed. Pure and simple. This thing, I don't know what it drops down to because they don't tell you when you're running all channels. I would bet, given the difference that I hear, it's something like 80 watts. Maybe. I doubt it's hitting 100. I really do. There is a dramatic difference in everything, in the impact, in the dynamics, in the headroom especially, explosions, dialogue is crisper, because for movies I do listen very loud, at IMAX levels, 100, 105 decibels for the peaks. That's how I love movies, because you're not running that volume all the time like you would be in a song. So movies, no problem, I crank it up. Absolutely, day and night difference, you need it. Simple as that. Even if you have a top of the line receiver. The 3080 is only 160 watts at 2-channel. And again, they don't tell you what it really is running multi-channel. Maybe that's hitting 100, 110-ish, and you don't have anywhere near the power reserves. This thing is 3 times as heavy as this, just speaking power transformer alone. This thing has way, way more power to give to whatever channels. So again, they've got it in 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, and I believe the 11's already out. Fantastic bargain for the money. Definitely recommend it. So there you go. I've got more stuff coming up, a couple really exciting projects. One, I'm just about ready to wrap up the master set / rational speaker placement video. I've finished with their physical placement in the room. I've got some stuff left here so I can film it and show you guys exactly what I did, talk about the results I did. I have a lot more testing I want to do with it because I want to try to bring REW in and also test different things with the room correction in addition to the physical placement. It was worth it, even though I spent 50 bucks on some great support. It didn't work out in this room, but that's not the fault of the system. I'll talk about that in that video. See you guys next time. Thanks for watching.